Hi guys, welcome back to the dive. This is season 2. I'm Nadia, your host, and I'm excited to welcome you back to continue this conversation with us in the Dive podcast. This is the part 2 of our first episode, The Struggle of Abstinence. In our first episode, we dived into the beauty of abstinence. Today, we are taking it a step further.
What are some major tips you would give to people, especially people in relationships who are trying to or who want to abstain? So this is for people in relationships. We are narrowing it down. What advice would you give to them? Because like you said, a man and a woman just immediately there's just this connection right from Adam.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to a couple that are trying to or who wants to abstain?
Who are eating, right? Okay. I think I'll start. Number one, know yourself. Know yourself and know the other person. Now, whilst dating, I've had a chance to date a couple of one or two people or even to marriage. What I realize is this. I know my strength. In fact, I spend a lot of time, to know who I am. Okay, know who I am. What is my strength? If I see a woman, or if a woman touches me, will I melt? Will I shake? Okay, so I knew myself. I knew my boundaries. If I go to the club, what's going to happen? If I get if I get access to a pornographic material, what is going to happen to me? If I'm in touch with, if you're a lady and you have friends that do masturbation, what's going to happen? Okay, so you have to know who you are. You have to know who you are, and you have to know the other person. You are in a relationship with somebody. You have to know. There are some women, you touch them like this, they all of a sudden they are gone. They will just melt on you. Okay? So you have to know who the other person is. You have to know the person's sexual strength or how the person thinks. Okay? So that is one of the things I think you should do. Know who you are and know what the other person is, because based on that, you know how to manage expectations. You know how to, talk to the person. Even certain words, there are certain words you speak to certain people, they can even make them, easily fall on your lap, right? There are certain things, you shouldn't say to certain people. Mm-hmm. So know yourself, know the other person, know how they think, how they behave, how they react to certain things. That is number one. Number two is that you need to set boundaries. You need to set boundaries. And what are the boundaries? Now, for instance, you are dating with somebody, the moment you start touching the person's breast, the moment you start touching the person's butt, you know that you've gone off limits. Okay? The moment the lady comes to your house and starts holding your shirt, okay, start rubbing you, start asking, you want the person to give you massage,
testing my
so those are certain things. If you don't give boundaries, okay. So we have body boundary, we have that's what I remember. In body boundary, make sure certain things that you don't need to touch, or certain sensitive areas of a woman or a man you don't need to touch, certain words, certain text messages. If you know it's going to arouse the person, don't do it. Okay. Now you need to discuss, when you are in a relationship, you need to discuss with the person, what are some of the limits that we should all, agree on, and review that consistently. Okay, I personally did that with my wife. We discussed certain things which we thought that it should be boundary. Okay, if I meet her, what I shouldn't do. Okay, You don't meet the person and start. If you kiss her, it's going to enter into a different level. Now there is another thing I know, and I'm very, very much aware. There are certain even Christian women that do. There is a myth of the fact that, what if I'm dating this person? You guys said we should abstain. I don't know the size, his size of, and all of that.
Now you
and then, and so I know, and I've heard it, that there are women that will even ask the man, zip it, zip and let me see, or let me hold, your manhood and all that kind of stuff. So when you do that, you are entering into a certain territory.
Yeah.
Okay. So there has to be limits. There have to be boundaries.
Yeah.
If you can create certain boundaries for your relationship, what you shouldn't say to each other, some certain text message, even certain times you shouldn't meet. Okay. Certain hours you don't have to stay. Okay. If I visit you and it's night, what do? Boundaries should be able to tell you when it's 9 p.m. go back to your home. Okay. But if you say when it's 9 p.m. come and lie on my bed, well, like I said, if it's me, I don't have the strength. I may not have the strength. Maybe by the time it's morning, it should be something else. But somebody can lie with a woman that is not married, to the following morning. But some others cannot do that. So you have to know your strength, and then based on the boundaries that you set, okay, you decide, if it's 9 p.m., we should all pact. Some of these kind of boundaries will help. It helps you, keep you in shape for your relationship. Then the last one I want to say is this. And this is me. I decided that, I'm not dating any woman, beyond 1 year. Okay. I'm not dating any woman beyond 1 year leading to marriage. Okay. So I said that, between 6 months to 1 year, because I know my strength. If I date you to up to more than 1 year, I don't know what will happen. You understand?
Yeah.
So I said to myself, within 6 months, I should be able to know the person. I think I can cooperate within that time limit, not to engage in any sexual activity with the person. But after 1 year, I cannot trust. I may not. I don't know. The angels might even be standing by me. I don't know. You understand? So, I believe that the courting or stage, we just need to make sure it's within an acceptable limit where we can manage. That way, you can focus, and then, it will not enter you, will not lead you into, sexual act that you didn't even plan for. Okay, so that is and it's very, very key to my heart. And I believe that, if it's 6 months, if you think you can date up to 6 months leading to marriage, why not? If it's 1 year, but according to your strength. You understand? All right.
Okay.
That's powerful.
Thank you very much. That was very powerful.
Very insightful. David,
Okay.
what about you?
I think he touched on a lot of things that I also want to talk about. And I think the first thing that I'll say is, so I usually tell my friends that, you see, I have a first bachelor's degree in dating, first class. I did it for 4 years. And out of that, I'll tell you that I actually agree with Brad Julius that you shouldn't date for long. I don't think you should. Because a friend of mine told me that dating is like they have put jollof rice in front of you, hot one, favorite food, and they're telling you not to eat it. That's how dating is like. So as much as possible, you should limit the time because your human strength is limited. You are relying on the grace of God, but at some point, you see, there is this story, I think we have all heard about it, about the Eros when they moved into, I think, Volta region or something. They were under a wicked king called King Akogolio, yes. And then they wanted to get away from that king, but the king had a lot of soldiers and things. They couldn't leave. So one wise man told them that there is a wall that surrounded the village. that after the woman finished washing, after the woman finished cooking, they should take that water and pour it on the wall. So they kept on doing it, and one day the wall fell down. And that's how they could leave or get out of that place. Every one of us has a wall, and every one of us has a limit. You might not know your limit, but the more you keep on pouring that water, keep on putting there's the whole thing that there's already temptation around you for a very long time. It's just like pouring that water on that wall. One day, it will give up. One day. Even though you might be there, you are trying your best, the thing is that one day, it can give up. Because it's like, you're allowing too much, I'm not allowing the devil per se, but there's, let's say, too much attack on you, and at some point, that wall can break down. So, the first thing I always advise people now, after my bachelor's degree. People are getting bachelor's degrees. Bachelor's degree.
When you spend 6 years, that's like a doctorate.
PhD. I always advise you that it shouldn't be long. It shouldn't be long. And the first thing that I truly believe, and he said it again, is that you really need to know yourself. You really need to know your temperament. You need to know your likes. You need to know your dislikes. You need to know your personality, who you can even bond to. All those things are very important because you'll be entering into a relationship blindly if you go like that. And the next thing is boundaries, but not just boundaries per se. I like what Brother said, boundaries and review of those boundaries. Because at different points, they'll change. Because you realize that as you go closer to the person, different things will change. For example, me like this, I had no problem holding their hands. So that was fine in our relationship. But later on, like I said, it's like jollof rice and they're telling you not to. Later on, you can't be holding hands because all of a sudden, where are all these emotions coming from? Because you could hold their hand, you can meet, you can hug, but now, doesn't look like it's a wise thing. So setting boundaries and even review of boundaries. But even with that, I still have a problem. The reason why I have a problem with that is that the boundaries are set by you and that person. And you can convince yourself that, oh no, these boundaries it's fine, it's okay. It's not that. You can just convince yourself that it's okay. The fact that you set the boundary means that you can also break those boundaries.
Yeah.
That's the problem. So the summary is that I genuinely think, and some people may not agree, I think that it's best not to date long. That's the best thing. I totally agree with what Brad just said. The best thing. And some people, this is a very, how do I put it?
Subjective.
It might be, me, I think it's very good advice. But yes, different people.
It's quite subjective.
It's quite subjective.
Some can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with first class in meeting, I would, that's the advice.
Yeah, but you see, let's apply physics. Okay. When you look at elastic materials, okay, we have their elastic limit, we have breaking points, right? Every human beings are elastic material. Just that some of us loses our elasticity
very fast.
and some can stretch fast. But no matter how or who you are, there is a breaking point for everybody. So in as much as this might sound suggestive, I think that it is still a good advice. Yeah, it's still a good advice because you can't be pushing your body so much like that. Alright. Last time I think we engaged in a conversation. I think David was part, even Nadia was part. And Nadia made mention of the fact that if you are not willing to date someone that early, for that long, then why are you dating the person for like 5 years? You guys have been dating.
Right.
For what reason?
Right.
And we're trying to explain to her that it is because of when we start dating as human beings. When you start dating, 18-year-old, you are in SHS. Me, Christ, I'm from class 2. My girlfriend was in class 2. Class 2, what do I know? But forget. Me, every class will die. You understand? So some of us start very early.
Right.
So if he's a PhD, maybe a professor. So like you see, some of us, because they start most of their dating, 18-year-olds, 17-year-old, immediately they finish SHS.
Right.
They feel their life is in their hands now, so they can do whatever they want. So normally that's even where a lot of people lose their virginity after 18.
Right.
Yeah, because at that point your hormones are peaking.
Right.
And these are new feelings to you. When at the point you get used to those feelings, but at the very early stages, it will peak.
And you don't even know how to manage.
Those kind of situations. You get my point. So when you date around 18 years, and you have a boy who is also 18 years, all of you are peaking at the same time.
All of you don't have CW.
All of you don't have anything, no kind of management, no protection. So you can come together. Oh, media, I don't want to lose it before. These ones are children talking. And then at the end of the day, give them 3 months. What they will do will shock you.
Right.
You understand? So when we get into even relationships are even very important. So the person who is asking that I'm in a relationship, how do I stay? Ask yourself that even my relationship is in the approved period of time. Yeah. If it is within the approved period of time, then as early as possible, study the person, discern whatever decisions you want to do.
Right.
And then as quickly as possible, get married.
Right.
If it's not the right time, then I think it's best you watch the person from a distance as a friend.
Exactly.
Or in whatever regards that is going to be.
Right.
Because when you keep stretching your body like that, there was a lady who shared a story with me. He said there was this guy, you had been good to him. And then we invited him out to go eat. First, they went to a restaurant. They bought food. They were happy. They had a good time. The guy didn't even cross it. And ladies start having this kind of trust when you go out with them and you don't even touch them. Then they feel like they can trust you.
Right.
That is how vulnerable they can be at a certain age in their life. And men are very wise. They see those things.
Yeah.
So we can go first one. Will you take you out? Do you show? But we'll never even hold your hand. We can do that just for you to win the trust first. You get me? So you can say that, this man is not like that. Me, I'm not, he will not do this. He will not do that. But like we are saying, you can't be so careful. So when they went on the first date, second one, third one, then this one is like, hey, but Charlie, what if we go to a place like maybe more exclusive, maybe like a pub or like a place so that we can get a room craft for ourselves and talk. Because you've gone out 3 times, you have no intentions, you are so clean. She will agree. And then she did agree. They went, first time they went, the nigga was sitting at this side of the bed, she was at this side of the bed, and they were talking, having good time and then everything. At the end of the day, he go. They went back. You see how the baiting is done. Right. Very simple and clean baiting. So this one, they went that first day. So the lady feels like, anytime we go, they touch me. So why not? Why can't I go? Even if the guy have genuine reasons that I don't want to touch you. Right. You are gradually creating that avenue. So you are stretching each other. You are stretching each other. Because you are 2 individuals, you have different breaking points. Right. Maybe the guy will break faster than you. Then one day you will go and then he will cross over to the other side before you realize a whole lot of things. Yeah. So boundaries, stretching yourself for a very long time, dating that whole long time, dating at a young age. Those things are the very, very excess in some of these courses. So let the person know that if you are really dating and you want to abstain, then you have to consider all these factors we are talking about. If you are too young, stop it. don't stretch yourself that long.
Yeah.
People who have taken that journey, a lot of us wish we should have started when we finished our PhD. Yes, because the stress you had in the journey, at the end of the day, 8 years relationship, then you chop breakfast.
Yes.
Are you new to this? You see, 8 years relationship, then you see them chopping breakfast. What is the cost? Because they are counting the 8 years from when they were 17 years. So 17 plus 8, you are 25. But 25, your 17-year choices are not the same as your 25-year choices.
Right.
But by then, you guys have gone through all the picking periods and you broken each other and a whole lot. So it becomes so difficult for you to do the abstinence in giving those kind of situations. So just look at your relationship. You are 18 years, then I said that media no sex before marriage. You are playing. Typically, you are playing. This is not practical.
Right.
Definitely, you will break on the way.
Yeah.
You will break on the way. So get closer to where you've reached a point that I know that by next year I'm getting married. Then now I'm looking for a woman. Let's go and scout for a woman. I get it. I look for the person. We start it.
Right.
When I see that this is the right woman for me, as early as possible before I'll reach my breaking point, I'll break it inside a marriage. So that's my piece I would say about this. Right.
There's one thing I wanted to add. To be able to help us really, to really help us focus. I think one of the things is to have goals.
Yeah.
Our academic goals, like our goals before, because that's the driving point.
Yes.
That is what's going to drive us. So you should have something that is ahead of you. I have my PhD, ahead of me. I have my master's ahead of me. Within 5 years, this is what I want to accomplish. Let me put in my efforts. You understand? Let me learn some skills. Let me learn how to go for skiing. So that when the person comes to you, it becomes easier. You can now even share some of those hobbies, talents, skill set with the person. You understand? So especially the time between, instead of you making a lot of mistakes, messing up your time dating, and then breaking yourselves and breaking limits, breaking points. Okay, we can use that to achieve more of our goals, set goals, learn new skills, and I think it's very important because what happens is that after marriage, it's very difficult to learn new things. It's difficult to learn new hobbies. It's difficult to learn new, in fact, travel, experience new opportunities, right? If you can do that, and I recently heard of somebody who was talking about some of those kind of journey, and I think I was like, I remember when I was telling you, I wish I could have traveled to more places before even getting married. So it's very, very important when you do that, you are going to maximize the time. And, it's going to save you from a lot of trauma, challenges, and all the things that, you don't have to go through. Yeah.
Okay. So picking up from this conversation, we spoke a lot about boundaries. I want us to be also, let's try and, when we talk about boundaries, right? So we are not doing this, we are not doing this relationship, but we also want to, in reality, there still has to be some form of affection in the relationship, because you also don't want a situation where you kill that is it passion or feeling for each other, and now you kill the vibe, and now you get married, and now you need that vibe, and it's not coming because you killed it during the dating stage. Yes. So what are other ways of showing affection? Because this abstinence right now, you can't even hold hand. So how else can we show affection in our relationships then?
Oh, there are certain touches that seem so natural. Holding
It's
hands
not
with them,
harmful.
It's not so
I
harmful.
didn't say it was harmful.
It's not so harmful. You can actually hold hands. David has a very short breaking time. But I think I sincerely think that, you see, that is why the Brazilians was saying that set goals. You can even be in a relationship and your priorities are your goals. Okay, you can find a way of I can date you. Let's put sex aside. You'll be happy. Because I can even crack joke for you all your life. You understand? Even that one crap is a vibe on its own.
Yeah.
You see, so there are other things that you can invest into it. And you can be there for each other in terms of, okay, let's share our dreams, aspirations. We are going to write exam. Can you assist me learn?
Right.
Those things create vibes. It's not by force. The vibe that this sexual whatever is going to create, you realize at the end of the day, it's not really a vibe that you want. Yeah, it's a vibe that you end up with regret.
It's true.
But then this one's like, help me pass my exam. Every day when you see yourself in your big office or something, you say, hey, it's because of this nigga.
Right.
You understand? So you see them, maybe the person can be invited to this kind of podcast. And you hear them mention, oh, when I was young, my wife and I, like we used to do this. So they always have an example to cite. You get me? I don't think anybody will come to a podcast and be so proud and say, my wife and I, now we used to do a lot of stuff. We used to do a lot of stuff. So the vibe that will keep you rather going is not sexual vibes.
Right.
It is actually other things which you should explore. Okay, look for how best you guys can support each other. That is, if there need be, you should support each other. Come up with a very nice way of being creative in your kind of friendship or relationship and all those things. But it's not always like, oh, come and visit me. I miss you. I miss you too. What are you wearing? Oh, I'm wearing this. Me too. What are you doing this night? Oh, I wish you were on my bed. Not yet. That is not vibe. It's not vibe, you understand? Because at the end of the day, those vibes will just, But if there is someone who has a significant part of you, that like, I miss this guy. If he was there, he would have woken me up to learn. By this time, I wouldn't fail this exam. So you see that always you want the two of you are together, talking together and all those things, you see.
Yeah.
Because boys can be there for each other. Why? What do we do for us? But because of the vibe boys we have, we share things. We are going to write exam. I'm stressed. David, you help me. I'm doing Charlie, thank you. You like I feel. Those kind of things. Friendships, you can be together. The same extension to the relationship.
Right.
So forget about that kind of those kind of vibes being a vibe. It's not actually a vibe killer. You are not looking for your vibe. Look for the vibe. There is a real vibe. You can get it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
David.
Okay, so I actually think that in every relationship and marriage, it comes in phases, first of all. And I have a lot of experience. Whenever I talk to certain friends who are dating, they say certain things. I just look at them and shake my head. I say, you are inexperienced. Let me give you experience. You see, there are phases in every. I can talk about relationship, but I don't talk about phase every relation. There's the honeymoon phase. My girlfriend and I, we never fought, we never argued for 7 months. Perfect, nothing. But there was a phase afterwards, everything was vibing. Do everything nice, if you don't like something, we'll just tell each other we are all fine, everything. But there was a phase, it was almost like every single day we are fighting. Not arguing, always arguing about something, every single day. And after that phase, you yourself will have to bring up that vibe. Like you have to consciously put in effort to make sure that, that affection is there. So at every single stage, I think at different phases, you will lose that so-called vibe or affection because of what is going on. But you have to consciously make it an effort to revive that thing. Maybe there are things that you can do. You guys can be, maybe you like being together, or maybe she has a certain hobby or something that you guys have to, bond with. So I think that in terms of the vibe, it will be up and down. It will always come. There will be some points that is at the peak, some points at the lowest. It can be that maybe at this point you are very stressed at work. Sometimes you will not even be thinking it's very difficult to even focus on, enjoy yourself.
Qualify.
Different pieces. So if we are using just vibe to determine how the relationship will end up, then I think it's a very wrong premise, because in the marriage, I can say that I've listened to a lot of counselors and things. It is not like marriage is not going up this way. It is continuously going up and down, but by the grace of God, you are going up. But there will be some times that it will come down, sometimes that it will go up. So there should be something other than pleasure that sustains the relationship. Like your goals, like your vision, like you guys have something that you bond with. You see, I think that is what is more important. Feelings or emotions are temporary. Exactly. Emotions are temporary. That's why you should never even use emotions to get into any relationship. Because they fluctuate, they change all the time. And so you should understand that season where maybe you're abstaining from it, don't think that the life is lost. Once you can connect with the person emotionally, the person can understand you. The person, you can communicate with the person. You feel free, you can trust the person. Those are some of the basic things that you should have in place. The vibe, it will come. It will come. You can put in effort. You will really like the person. Yeah.
Okay. So, what does it mean, the vibe?
I think like affection.
That's the affection. Yeah. Okay. So, they talked about dividend. Theo talked about the fact that it's temporary. Basically, it's our emotions. These things are connected with our emotions, and it's just a chemical reactions. Okay. Now, what happens is that David talked about having goals and aspirations, which is very, very important. So those are what connects people. If you can connect the person you are dating with, if you use that, there's so much to talk about. There's so much to connect about. Now, notwithstanding some of these things, I know women usually care about certain few things, a little "I love you," sending the person this little text messages, during the birthdays, those things should not be ignored. So whilst you are focusing on your goals, your aspiration, during her birthday, during her certain moments in their life, you send them text message, the holding of hands, you can do it. But I think it's not even practicable to do it all the time. It's not practicable. Yeah. Okay. So the holding of hands, once in a while, but there's like, you send the person text message, just to reaffirm, I love you, send my best of love, all that kind of stuff. So those things are there. Now, there are other things that you can also engage in. Like if you are in the US, okay, I know I have a friend who goes hiking with her fiancé, right? Go for hiking, go to picnicking. Those are some of the things that still keeps you. Okay, it keeps the relationship. It doesn't make things boring. It doesn't make things too vibey. But it keeps you going as a friend. Because one thing you have to realize is that the person, you have to build a certain level of friendship with whoever you are dating with. And friendship, it's a lot. It's not just, the emotional aspect. No, you are sharing a whole life with a person. So there's a lot more, start a hobby. David talked about it. Start a hobby or think about certain things that you can do. Learn new skills together. Okay. If my wife was in Ghana, and I was here. If my wife were to be here, I think I would have loved to, go on hike or do certain things with her, like cooking class, or something like that, like learn something new. You understand? So those things are there. It helps to create that atmosphere. You understand?
Okay. Okay, so we'll be ending soon. So one of the last questions that I want to ask is, we all know, like, if you are dating, not to isolate yourself, especially with the opposite sex, like, to be practical, because you are likely to fall into temptation, right? But then you also can't be spending money every day. You want to spend time with your beloved because you want to be in a public place. So every day, only the two of you, every day, when you want to go out, then you are going to the mall or something like. So as a Christian couple, how can we have or spend time with each other without always having to go out, and also in a way that will also cause us to fall into temptation?
Okay. Or those dating. You said Christian couple.
Or those
right?
dating, yeah.
Okay, good. All right.
Oh,
Okay, the thing is, you see, going out with someone, right, doesn't necessarily warrant you spending. I don't know. I think we are the ones normalizing that thing. Now, if I want to take you out, you saw a post I made today that one of my friends took a rich girl out, and then you had only 80 cedis in your pocket. And then you took this lady out. The lady said, oh, she wants to go to beach. So you took him to a beach club over there. And then not so a club, it's like a restaurant kind of thing. So that place, if you order drinks, compulsorily food accompanies it. He didn't know. So when the lady says smoothie, so for my smoothie there is 25 cents. So you have to. So you ordered smoothie, and then he said, "Oh, he woke up to go and get vodka for himself." By the time he came, there was rice and this thing in front of the lady. But now, why did you order food? He said, "Oh, they came that the food is compulsory, so yeah, this and that." So he too, they came. What would you take? He said, "Oh, I'm okay." They said, "No, it's compulsory." They had to add. So at the end of the day, kwata, Oga was owing for this.
Wow.
Flat. Oga doesn't have money. So now you have to just call your friends and get all those kind of things. You see, some of the guys too, they go through such stress, then doing them like, this guy no fit chop my money and go scot-free like that. Do you see how where some of these things are coming? So I don't know why we are normalizing outing with spending. There are ways and means you can go out with someone, spend quality time without spending. There are free places you can go. I think even here in US, there are places that you can even go and pay, I think $1, $2, I'm sure just some great fee, something small. And you even have much fun than anything. But we, especially back in Ghana, we don't have a lot of scenic places. So taking someone out is either restaurants, if not restaurants, a club. If it's not a club, you go to the beach. If you know that place, a whole lot of things, okay? So I think that you shouldn't be normalizing, or you shouldn't always be finding, make it a point that if I'm taking someone out, it should be a place where I have to spend. I then try and identify places that you can still spend quality time with the person, not so in so much isolation. There are places that are opening places for people to just, maybe you can even go and play games, and how much would that cost you and all that. So you can do all those things without necessarily spending so much out of your budget or even spending at all. Okay, maybe some of these expensive places can rather lead you to have that mindset I spoke about earlier. You get me? If I send you out and the only thing I spent is the 50 pesos that we use for pure water, pure water or bottled water or whatever, right? Then that one, if at the end of the day I want her to give me a hug finally and she said no, she's going home, I'll have no offense to that. But I spent 1,000 on you, give me a hug, you said no. Then okay, tomorrow we shall see. You see, that one rather even put you in certain states in which you shouldn't be. Okay, you can look at that, or you can, if the person has maybe a family house. I know of people who are dated. The lady is in their dad's house and all that, and their family is always around. They have a big compound. There is no harm in visiting the person in his house. But typically, we are not able to do so because of the mindsets that we are having. You can actually go to someone's house, she can cook for you and do all those things. You even gain instead of losing. You understand? But you don't want to go to someone's house and go and maybe sit outside for the two of you to talk, or sit in the hall or sit in the living area. That is what will be your problem, because you want it to be bedroom so that if in case one or two things can add up, then we can do the math. But yeah, so I think there are avenues and ways by which you can send somebody out, have time with the person without necessarily spending. If you can invest your time into looking at those kind of avenues, it will go a long way of helping you, rather than always spend out of pocket before you take someone out, do this thing and do those things. You know, these things are all boils down to choices. And I don't think these are like compulsorily, if you are dating someone, you have to go out there, you have to spend money. No, it's not like that. We are normalizing, right? But it's not actually like that. Our forefathers can have quality time just under a tree. Under a tree, pet. Oh, you don't see the girl will go this side of the tree, then you chase her, you'll be going around the tree. They have quality time. What are they? They are even doing exercise, so they are getting. You see, so there are other ways of our time. Maybe it's not like that, but there are, I think, places that you can go and have such fun. Places that you can go for some driving and yeah. So these things are there which you can do, but shouldn't always be in isolation. Isolated places are what will cause you to leave some of these things. So just keep your budget on the low and then identify the places that if you can afford, fine. If you can't, there are still ways on which you can still get quality time and still be upright.
So I will come in the Christian, more religious angle. Yeah. So we can really have a very low cost outing still in the public. By engaging yourself also in church activities. So engaging in a lot of if you are in the US or you are in Africa, any part, whatever the church is doing, involve yourself into it. Involve yourself with the person you are dating with. Mm-hmm. They are going on a picnic, you go with the person. If you are having seminars, you go with the person. Mm-hmm. Okay, those are like quite very. You don't spend anything there. Okay, you don't spend anything in such events. Mm. Now, other things that you can do, spend quality time at the same time. It's not expensive. When it's reading, engage in reading, ventures or reading activities. When my wife and I were dating, I think I've mentioned in the past before, there was one book I particularly liked, How I Wished I Knew I think I forgot the name. I think I wrote it somewhere. What I wish I knew before I got married.
Okay.
And there are a lot of questions in that. So instead of me calling her and say, "Oh, I love you," this one say, "I love you too." So what we did was that we spend the time, answering some of the questions, like, talking over the questions. Now, within a short period of time, I got to really know a lot about my wife to be. I got to know a lot about her. And that's a way of engaging yourself, because there's a lot more to know that we usually don't care. Okay, so that is, even though you're not going out, but it's a low hanging fruit like adventure that you can do. If you are in the US, you can go for picnics. There are a lot of picnics around, especially summer is coming. You can go. If you are in Africa, there are certain events that people do. Like if there's let's say a cis match, in Ghana we do have a cis match celebration. You can go with the person. There is an event going. Sometimes you just have to, like Tio said. So you need to sit down and plan things ahead. Decide what are some of the things within our environment we can take advantage of. Okay. What are some of the opportunities? What are some of the the entertainment, not harmful entertainment? If you're thinking of yourself as Christians, what are some of the entertainment opportunities that you can take advantage of? And then you can enjoy yourself together. Something like that. So and most of them don't even cost that much. There are a lot of events. I think in Africa there is more church events than there are other events, but still you are going to get it. There are conferences there you can go. I know in Ghana, in a lot of Africa, we don't have parks, so you may not have the opportunity. But if you are in the US and some other places, you can take advantage of some of those things. Other things you can do, is even simple travel. If, let's say, the person is in Ghana, the person has parents in, say, Koforidua, okay, and you are in Accra, just one day travel, it's a good thing, right? Sometimes visiting, you can even visit a certain town you're not very much familiar with. You might be in Accra and don't even know Jamestown. Go and visit there, okay? So just little short travel, and how much is it going to cost you? It's not that much. You understand? You don't know Tema. Go and visit there. And I think one of the challenges I know, a lot of Africans do, we don't like to travel within our, our countries. But there's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of ways. There's a lot of places, very interesting attractions. If you are in Accra, for instance, you can go to Volta region. They have, even currently, I recently heard that there is a water park. Some people have done like theme parks. You can visit there. So and it's a day trip. Okay, if you are in South Africa or wherever, there are very simple, not expensive stuff that you can take advantage of. That will go a long way to help in a relationship and build that kind of rapport, within us. Yeah.
Oh, that's insightful. David, what about you? Last person to talk.
I totally agree with everything that they have said. Even if you have to save some money because things are not, maybe things are a bit challenging, I think you should save some money, put some money behind and then make sure that you go to these kind of places. But I actually think that when there's a will, there's a way. You find something somewhere in your neighborhood to go. You find, if you really love the person you want to abstain, I think you will find a way. There's always a way.
Right.
In fact, you see that taking a walk, you probably don't like walking, but now you would enjoy walking.
I think you are 4 years ago. That's great.
Yes. So I'll just make sure when there's a will, there's a way. You will find a way out of that situation so that you are not isolated. Because the isolation is just a trap of the enemy.
Right.
So I think when there's a will, there's a way. Yeah.
Okay.
So let's take our last question. Finally, since we are talking about abstinence, let's end with some practical examples of boundaries we can set in our relationships to help keep us and our partners in check. Yeah, that's it.
Practical. Okay, I think I can start. I noted some few things down. I said that sexual boundaries. So we have how people touch. So touching people is is sexual or is a trigger. So to make sure that there is a boundary, you have to limit or put a boundary in terms of touching. And touching could include, touching people, their body parts, underclothes. You don't want to touch some of those places. And then also how people see your body. You need to put boundary over that. So, for instance, if I come to your house, if I'm dating you as a lady, and I come in your cleavage, it's all there, right? It's gonna attract me. It's gonna put me into temptation. Yeah. You understand? If I come, I'm a lady. I like men with abs. It triggers me. I like to. If I see something, it can just, flash. My eyes will be something. You understand? When I come to your house, we should have that boundary that, hey, when I'm coming to you, I don't want to see you always bare-chested because it can tempt me, right? And then things like, how you treat people in sexual situations. So you have to put boundaries on how you even speak, how you send certain text messages. There are certain text messages you can send to somebody and the person cannot sleep all throughout the night. The person will think about it. Okay, so you don't want to send. In fact, there's certain text message, they call it. I forgot the name just right now.
Is it risky?
You can send to a man or a woman, and the person will be aroused. You don't want to send those kind of text messages to people. So you have to set some of those, boundaries, right?
Wow, that's a good one.
Okay, so the kind of boundaries that you should set, I think, first of all, this should be done very early in the relationship. Both of you need to set the boundaries, and I actually think you should have it both in writing, like a contract. You should have it so that you yourself can be reviewing it from time to time, things that because sometimes you can be happy, you're enjoying yourself, and then you are forgetting your boundaries. You are forgetting that, okay, these are things you have agreed upon. So next thing, that must be something that you both agree on. Because sometimes maybe a girl is like, oh, I don't want sex. Guys like, okay, that's fine. And then you see that the days that you're going to be weak, he never agreed that he's not having sex. He just said, you said you don't want to have sex. Yeah, so okay, that's fine with you. But he has not, both of you didn't agree that, okay, this is what we are standing for. So the days that you are weak, you see that, I didn't agree to it. So that's it. But it's something that both of you should agree upon, so that both of you can hold each other up in days that you are weak.
Right.
So I think you should have it in writing. Some of the things in dating, some people, I don't know the opinion of others, but I know a lot of Christians, they are not against kissing. I don't know about everyone, but I think, personally speaking, that it's a recipe to go into life.
So you don't hold hands, you don't hide.
I didn't say no, that's what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
Upright.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that, you see, like what Brad Junior said, when you go to your a girl's house, your maybe your girlfriend's house, and she's wearing something that has glitters. Ordinarily, he can go to any other friend's house and maybe his mind, he can really block that out and have a normal conversation. But the fact that he has an emotional connection to you is just making it harder.
Okay.
Maybe 10 times harder for him. But he can be with maybe some friends, that's how they dress. he can tune it out because he doesn't have any kind of, sexual emotions or feelings for them. But when it comes to you in particular, things can be 10 times more difficult. And
the kissing is in levels, so
in levels.
You can just give somebody a touch kiss. You don't want to do mouth to mouth deep kiss. That's a recipe for disaster, right?
Yeah.
So that's also a challenging thing.
Yeah. I think what he said, you need to really know yourself to be able to set your boundaries. And I don't know why it's not when I said the hands. People didn't understand what I was saying. What I was saying was, I could, no problem. But you see, at certain stages, different points. You see, even with your boundaries, at different points, you can't do everything. Like, for example, there's nothing wrong. You put meat and then you hug.
Yeah.
Maybe you are going through some serious depression. Something is going on in your family that you have come to him for counsel. He has seen you crying. Oh, he's sad. He has hugged you. And you too is feeling very, emotional about what you're going through. One thing will lead to another, the hug has become long. Then it has transformed itself into another thing. So even with your boundaries, depending on the stage, whatever is going on in your life, that might not be the right time to even do those things. So I think for the boundaries that we need to set, in terms of kissing, where to touch, you shouldn't be alone with that person, in a room. All those things are things that we need to keep. And I think that at the beginning of every relationship, you should talk about it. In fact, write it down so that it's in your mind. You can always check, maybe on your phone, you write to check the things you are not supposed to do. Today that you are not feeling, today you are not so spiritual, you better read that before you go and visit them. To have it in mind that, things that you are not supposed to do. Yeah.
In fact, there are some women that can even come and rub their self on you. You understand? If you don't have boundaries, you are going to fall into a trap. I'm telling you.
Okay, so they spoke. they really spoke at length on this. Okay. But I think the very first stage in all this thing is that, do you know, potholes, right? You've seen some before. How does potholes start? Just some small hole. She's even a civil engineer, she can show us. Just a small dip in maybe the road, and then it creates a hole. The minute car starts running over, the hole starts becoming to widen. Before you realize, get to a place that it becomes so bad that the same cars that were running over are now passing by it. That is how some of these things graduate. You start by, peg. Then small time, peg starts from here, then it's drawing a line towards you. And some of these things, you get me? So the boundaries they are saying you should set and all those things start from one. Watch what you guys communicate.
Right.
The very things you communicate, talk about. It's very, very important. If whatever you talk about, there is high probability you are going to practice it where you meet. You get me? You are going to practice it. So when you keep talking about this sexual stuff almost all the time, it weakens your system. So you have to look at, set a limit to what you guys should talk about.
Right.
When you are talking and you see that, no, today I say I'm swaying to something else, you can give an excuse. Oh, my father just called me, I'll call you back.
Yeah.
It's not bad. You just save yourself a very big disaster.
Right.
Else, if you let it go, like I said, it graduates. So before you realize, you start going to those kind of conversation, and then she'll be like, what are you doing? Are you in your room? Yeah. Are you alone? If you start hearing things like that, know that you are at level 9. Are you alone? Yeah. Okay. So where is your sister now? Oh, nobody is around. Why? What are you wearing? Oh, that my 90. Oh, can you snap? it goes like that. Snap it and send it to me. Then it sends you something print inside. Hey, can I see internal?
Can you also send me your picture?
Can you also send me your own? And before I realize, you guys will be like, I was there one day, a friend of mine called me, Charlie. Is there a possibility WhatsApp video call can be hacked? I said, bro, I'm not a cybersecurity expert. So what are you talking about? Say, Charlie, and they talk to this guy. I don't know when I just open my manhood, and I snapped it and sent it to the girl just for fun, keke, that we were just discussing. So you see, you say, oh, the boundaries is that we shouldn't do this, we shouldn't do that, but look at the root cause. Start from there. Avoid talking about some of these things. That is the first practical way to handle some of these things, right? And then, like they are saying, now we also made mention of the access to some of these things. Sometimes I think we are not so much exposed to it. Sometimes we consciously go to look for those things. So anything that is going to send your mind towards that direction, that is what you need to attack. Let us set boundaries towards those things.
Right.
The two of us cannot be alone. Like David was saying, she's feeling depressed. She has come to you. You are the boyfriend. You need to talk about it. She just came because she was genuinely depressed. You also felt for her because
You love it.
you love her. So the depressee and then the depressor, the two of you are in that state, and you see, you become very vulnerable. So if you check your environment and you see the environment is becoming too conducive and all those things, then quickly find a way of, you guys, Charlie, let's take a walk.
Let's take a walk, yeah.
Let's go towards some of these things.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not just sometimes by word of mouth. You being able to learn skills in being disciplined. Very, very important.
Right.
How do I discipline myself to do this? Last time I was saying that people in SHS, people they jump SDAT. They've been jumping SDAT. Like, they pass through the park, they pass through everywhere. And I was that kind of guy that we were so good that we were the one they used to advise the other people, you see. So they've been using you to advise people, look how clean, upright, those kind of people. It got to a point, boys were going home. I was like, so me, my house is just here. Why don't I also go home? And I saw that this student go. That day I was really, really feeling for it. You see, let's put the same scenario as what you are feeling for a sexual pleasure or something. I was really feeling like going home. Then I saw the students going. The right thing for me to have done, maybe I'll just go to my dorm and sleep. But I stayed there. And I saw them going. And I called one of my friends, Charlie. It's quite a way to go, they do it, they make a go. He said, now they see a lot of boys who are going, not all of them are day students. I said, people have been jumping as they are to the gates now. I said, fine. Then, I'll just join you like I'm going to sign at the gate. I'll just do my hand on the notebook like something. They don't know all the day students. Then I'll just pass in the gate and go. Actually, I did it. And then I jumped there just so cleanly and so good. I went home, and then that was the only time, the whole time that they knew the Okada Roko. When me pet I jumped, that was the only time. And I don't know, for some reason, people who jump are chronic jumpers.
Right. So they were able to come back.
They came back because they knew jumping time. They had informants in the school that when they jump and those kind of record pie, they call them and then they come around. Or they have boys who can take risks and take the record for them and all that. I'm not an experienced jumper. Right. So I just got in, and then at the end of the day, look at I was giving punishment to pack sand for 1 week, no school. My first jumping experience. I was with chain jumpers, cracking blocks, and it was like so much a dent to my image as at that time.
Right.
You get me? So this thing, when you like it, is the same as the sexual experience. When you start having this kind of feelings, the boundaries are that you should try and master your prevention skills, your discipline skills. You are the one that knows the true cause of why you are here.
Right.
Master that act. How to avoid some of this. I think there are good preachings that you can watch. How to avoid sexual immorality. People have given you insightful examples and all those things.
Yeah.
Keep watching. Encourage your partner to watch those things.
Yeah.
Those are what we call boundaries. You are building it every day.
Right.
We can document it.
Yeah.
Human beings wrote it. Human beings can hear it. I can hear that we can all close our eyes on that contract without even knowing it. Like in the scenario I said, she just came out, you were vulnerable, all of us, before I realized something happened. We will finish before. By the end of the day, you've done it already.
Right.
So every single day, just watch what you feed yourself with.
Yeah.
The kind of materials you expose with yourself with. And each time you are in that state, master the courage of self-control, the ability to control yourself. Master those things. Those are practical. If you are able to do it, you don't even need a lot of scriptures. When you master these kind of things, 50% of your problem is done. The rest is just how to now have successful life and all those things. You can watch messages from our men of war. You get it. So I think that is one way you can watch some of these things.
Okay. I think that was very insightful, right?
Yeah.
And that is my last question. But before we end, I just want to ask you guys if you have anything to say to someone out there, any advice for anyone out there, whether related to this topic or not, if given the chance to impart something into someone's life out there, what advice would you give to the person? Yes, so Father Julius, let's start with you.
Yeah, I would say that it's so difficult, especially within our time, especially also within our age range right now. It's so difficult to abstain. But you know, what does the Bible say? The Bible says we should flee from all sort of what? Sexual immorality. So the Bible encourages us to flee, and then also there's another thing. The other thing is that we have a choice. So Bible also says we should put away our old self. So what it means is that you have the power to do it. If you didn't have the power, Bible wouldn't say put away. So you have the power, that is, you have the choice to do it, and then the Bible admonishes us to actually do it. So my advice is that, you know, we have the power to do it ourselves, and then with the help of the Holy Spirit, we should always continue to pray and strive and ask God for strength, for self-control. You know, as the Holy Spirit will help you, give you the strength, you'll be able to control certain circumstances, certain situations around our lives. It will also help us to be able to have certain boundaries around our lives. And no matter where you have reached, God wants you to come back. You know, there's no way. God is ready to accept you, no matter your form, your shape, your size. So that is what I would say. That, you know, self-control is number one. Ask the strength of the Holy Spirit and return back to God, no matter where you've reached. Thank you very much.
Powerful. David, last words.
So I'll just pick up from
As a first class.
I'll just pick up from where Brother Julius ended. There's this parable in the Bible that I love so much, the parable of the prodigal son. But I call it, or I think it should be called, the parable of the loving father. Because it says more about the father than it actually does about the son. The son was promiscuous, he left the house, he did everything that his heart wanted. But we saw that when he decided to come back, the father was a mile away. He saw him and ran to him. And that's how much God loves us. That no matter how far we have gone to, we should know that God is always ready to pick us up. The problem that we face is that, yes, God will pick us up, but like the parable of the prodigal son, he didn't need to go through that. And that's why we talk about abstinence. He went through all the poverty, he was eating from pigs. There are always consequences with the choices that we make. And even though God is ready to pick us up, we need to know that some of the consequences are truly not necessary. If we learn certain things, like maybe we gain knowledge on certain issues, it will save us from many troubles. It will really save us from many troubles. God will do his part. God will love us. God will direct us, send people our way. But ultimately, the choice depends on us, whether we are choosing to follow what God has said or follow our own heart. And we need to know that sometimes even this abstinence thing is not fun, because I think, sin is pleasurable. Sin is very nice. I spoke to one of my a long time ago, my pastor. He just got married, and then he said, David, I think fornication is sweeter because it's like he said fornication seems sweeter because marriage. He said my wife was sitting because he just got married about 2 days or so. He said after the first night, 2 days she was there on the bed. I didn't even mind her. I was just there. But you see, when we were dating, it was like my body was always on fire. Like And so sin itself is pleasurable. Okay. That's the temptation of the devil. He would magnify a lot of things. Our feelings will magnify a lot of things. So sin will always seem pleasurable. But we need to understand that following God's commands is always for our best. It's always to our benefit. Right. It doesn't put us in the wrong, it's not depriving us of anything. It's rather saving us from many troubles. Right. So I would advise anyone that don't think you are Kolo or you are
Joe.
Joe.
You are Joe.
If you are abstaining, at the right time, things will come. Things will fall into place. I think there are some people, the people are like, let's say they are friends, they are driving cars. He was still using like trotro and everything. I was like, when my life changed at all my friends are rich and everything. But the thing is that everything comes in time, seasons. At the time you enter your season, you see that guy is not there. It's not you'll be tired. It's not. You just need to really be patient. Learn to be patient, and everything will come. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
That's a good one.
Yeah, if they are advising everybody, leave me. I don't know what advice I should give. But yes, just to highlight everything, like they said, this abstinence is I think the benefit you reap from it is far more worth the struggle. Okay, it's worth the struggle, because if you look at the prospective distraction you are likely to face at the other side, it's not something you can joke with. Some of them have very lasting consequences, right? And it can even inhibit your chance of any future prospects or very good things coming your way, right? You can go and do something with some lady, and then spiritually you can sell your destiny freely. True. You can sell your destiny freely, and your destiny helper will just pass you by just for nothing. Or because of one lady that you've done something with, her attitude and everything she has disgraced you all over the media that no good lady even wants to see you and all those things. You see, these are just physical examples of what can happen. So you can imagine the spiritual realm. So I feel like no matter how hard the road is, it's worth the journey. Yeah. So you should just try your best, and then always, like I keep hammering, practice your disciplinary and self-control skills. Learn gather all the necessary data, tools, whatever, information, videos that are going to strengthen you in this particular path. Okay. If you can learn how you can create fun out of let's say, a moody situation, you should be able to overcome some of these things. Because sometimes feelings just arouse because you don't have anything to do.
Oh, you are depressed.
You are depressed, you are just doing something like that, you are just alone, and things will start running through your mind. Okay. If you can just take some music be and start jamming without anybody just saying, let me see whether I can dance. Just find out if you can dance. Those kind of things like that. Okay. So sometimes I can be there feeling bored. Maybe if such thoughts wants to come into my mind, I pick my choral music. I have a lot of them. You know, I'll be choir master, music director, small. So I pick my choral music and I try to see if I do remember the lyrics.
Right.
And if I can still remember my voice. So I try to sing along. Before I realize I get so engulfed in it that I forgot what actually happened.
Yeah.
Some days it works, some days it might not work, but at the end of the day, find anything that can make great fun out of a moody situation. And I think it's worth the journey. Some people are really struggling with the consequences. Some of us have had experiences that if they start sharing with you, you start crying for them. Yeah, all because of some of these situations. So it is worth the journey. And like I said, people derive fun in you being called, you be the chairman of the century. You get me? So if you are rather abstaining, you are John, and nobody wants to be John. Yeah, but for the sake of your own sanity, be John. This John is better than the you. So just stay John for Christ, and everything shall work well for you.
Okay, wow. Amazing. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the wisdom, knowledge, information, vulnerability, sharing, personal experiences. Thank you for everything. We really appreciate it. We've come to the end of this episode, but if you have any questions, you can drop it in the comment section or you can DM me. I'll definitely get your questions to them to be answered. Thanks again for joining us once again. Don't forget to subscribe and bye.
Bye.